from us connecting, a year ago, you'd heard that we did a report on a haunted hotel, and you let us know in an email that we should talk to some folks who do this. This is some real investigating as opposed to some amateur stuff.
Right.
How did this all get started for you?
I actually had a haunting. My children and I were haunted, and I had to do the research myself on what was going on, and kind of realized that, you know, at the time this was happening to us, it was in 1995. So, like, you know, nobody was really out there that could help us. And if we talked to our preacher or a pastor or whatever, clergy, they kind of looked at you a little funny. So that's what got me into doing what I do now.
Well, talking about that worry about you being so open about it and how people react to that.
Well, I guess it just depends. Sometimes people look at you like you have 6 heads, but it is what it is. I enjoy what I do because I bring that consistency and validity to those who do have hauntings and do live in fear. And that is very important to me and my team, that we give them the comfort, the counseling, and the help that they need in order to push through another day.
If someone's got something going on, unexplained, what do you guys do? Walk me through the whole process of what you do.
Typically, we go and interview with the family, okay? Get their stories, hear what they have to say, where it's happened, how it's happened. If there's children involved, we typically do immediate assistance because we do fear for the children the most. But typically, we'll just go in, interview them, set up, schedule a time to go in and investigate, whether it be a binding, a clearing, whatever we need to do.
Explain those things. What are those things, binding and clearing?
Well, if a home has a haunting in it, depending on the type of haunting it is, some spirits need to be bound, banished away, so they can't come back. And those are typically more the evil type of spirits that linger on. And we typically find those more in homes that have pre-puberty children in them. And if you just have residual hauntings, then usually you can do a blessing. And, you know, once you do a blessing and clearing, the home is usually fine. But, I mean, I've got clients that I've had for 15 years, and on occasion, you know, I have to go back and do something with them. I have found here recently that antique hauntings have become more forthright with people. They'll go to these antique stores and bring home a piece of furniture, and it will have a spirit attached to it, and the next thing you know, their house is in an uproar and they don't understand why. And you know, so there's so many things that and layers that go into anything that you do.
So beyond the investigating part of it and trying to bring some relief to these folks that know there's something happening, you also have another ability.
Yes.
That you told me about. And tell me about being a medium and how you first discovered that.
When I was 7, I had an out-of-body experience. I could see myself floating above my body. And as I said to you before, I was engulfed in a pinkish colored light. And I remember feeling okay, but kind of strange because I didn't really understand why. I was up here and my body was down here. But when it was over, about a week later, I started seeing things that I normally wouldn't see. And through the years, it just progressed, and I would repress it and keep it in and not say anything. And, you know, I've had other team members that knew I was sensitive and knew I could see, and I would, again, you know, repress it and not bring it out. And we had one serious case about 5 years ago. And that's what made me want to open up, because I knew the family needed the help. And the only way to do that was to open up. So that's basically what I did. I had to get some help from a Reiki master and I tuned in my abilities a little more, and it went from me hearing completely clear to feeling everything that the spirit went through, to actually being able to physically see them. So now I am to that point where I can see, hear, feel. I can tell you how they've passed. I can do all of that. But if they don't want me to know, that's another story too.
What about those folks who say you're full of it?
Really doesn't matter to me. They don't walk in my shoes. So, and I know that what I do brings relief and help to people, and that's my ultimate goal.
Working with this team and exploring different places, are there ever times where you feel unwelcome or in danger?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And when it comes to that point, I will pull my team out. We do not do this for a thrill. We do not do this to upset or harm or bring pain to anybody. We are researchers in our own right. So we do fun investigations where we know that we can go and, test equipment and have a little fun and not mean any harm. And then we know that there are places that we have been, that we have gone back to that need a little bit more help, and that is a work in progress.
Talk a little about what you've experienced here tonight.
This historic house has a lot of activity here, but it's good activity. It's not anything malevolent, and they just belong here with the history of the home and everything that has been through these doors and everything. It's just it's been a great experience. There's a nurse from the Civil War here. There's a young child that's here. I actually identified Mr. Powell Clayton this evening, and
former governor of Arkansas.
Yes, actually, former governor of Arkansas. So it was very interesting to see the validation and get the validation to things that we were saying.
He seemed standoffish to you at first.
He was standoffish. There was no ands, ifs, or buts. He didn't want anything to do with me. And I think a lot of it is he was more confused about the fact that I could see him when nobody else really had before. Because I described him, knew what he was wearing, and when we finally found his photo and I pointed him out, there you go. So it was pretty cool.
We had some interesting moments there once he became comfortable with you.
Yeah, we did.
Talked about some of those things where there was a little connection that I had from a previous experience, but talk to us a little about the things he was pointing out to you.
He was just stating that he had belongings that were here in the home. He wanted those to be respected. And he was telling me the reasons why he was here. He's comfortable here. This is, a family home. It wasn't his immediate family, but his brother. And he was just comfortable here. He's comfortable with Sarah, the lady that works here, and he is very protective of the area. I believe it dates back. He was telling me something about the Indian Territory and something legalization of something that was going on. He was a participant in. So, this is where he wants to be.
If people have any questions for you, how do you prefer people to contact you?
They can go through our website. It's ghostconnection.com, or they can email us at nwaghostconnection@yahoo.com.
How does tonight's events rank for you among the many you've had? Does it seem like an active place?
Oh, it is active, yeah, absolutely. I think it would be a great place just to come and explore on occasion and have a conversation. I mean, it's great.
Do you feel like the spirits here are welcoming?
If they are respected, yes. Yes, you have to respect them.
If people have an interest in this sort of thing and they feel like they might have a connection, or maybe there's just something going on, what would you recommend to them?
I do not recommend amateur ghost hunting at all. It can be very dangerous, but I do and would suggest that they contact someone that has a lot more experience and get some feedback from them.
When we started tonight, you did something right away.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
We always pray. We always pray. Our faith is very prominent, and forsaking all others, we have to have God in our life.
So my question, anything I didn't ask you about that you think people need to know about?
Well, I wouldn't think so. I mean, we pretty much discussed everything.
Joel?
You were talking about, malevolent spirits, and like you would pull your team out if things got ugly.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? I mean, how ugly could they possibly get?
Look to me when you speak.
Yes, an ethereal presence or whatever. I mean, what could they possibly do to you?
Malevolent spirits are just, they're not fun. They can cause bodily harm, they can cause sickness, and they can kill you. So that is something that is very serious. It's not something that we play with. We do have a Reiki master on our team who also is very attuned and very sensitive, and takes really good care of me personally. Being a medium make sure I'm grounded and everything else. But when something like that comes out, no ands, ifs, or buts, we're gone.
You mentioned as a medium that this can be a taxing experience. What will tomorrow be like for you?
Hell, really. It takes everything out of me. Makes me very sick the next day. I'm just so drained that I have nothing left. I have to rebuild myself. Plenty of orange juice, lots of Motrin. Headache, yeah, very bad headaches, yeah.